The Dearborn Independent, Chronicler of the Neglected Truth, March 26, 1927, Volume 27, Number 23. Mr. Ford's page of the Dearborn Independent, The Stagnation Possible in Prosperity. Mere making and selling, buying and having, does not long satisfy the growing human nature. These operations must gain larger meaning and relations, or they soon grow stale. Then we have the spectacle of a country filled with goods and money and yet becomes stagnant. It puzzles the economists. The phenomenon of people simply growing tired of being merely busy and merely prosperous could only have been produced by immense business and unparalleled prosperity. It is a new pressure upon society to find new and deeper meaning, to justify its activity and more compelling goals than we have. Selfishness is the least sustaining motive in the world, the earliest to wear out. It would not be at all surprising if the world were to discover that it is on the brink of a new experience, or at least a new form of an old experience. To put it into words just as one sees it is not particularly easy, but it may be attempted after this manner. The world shows signs of a growing tired of a certain kind of prosperity, just as it grew tired of a certain kind of poverty. There are signs that the zest of mere buying and selling, making and having and owning, the mere zest of business for business' sake, is suffering a decline. This is very hopeful, most of all for the class who will never discover what business is until they are confronted with its decline, not in volume of value but in satisfaction. Man has always suffered from the delusion that he lives in two worlds, and his perplexity has been increased by the further delusion that it is his work to pull both worlds together into one. He has failed to see that he lives in one world, and it is only who he is guilty of trying to divide them into two. He has only succeeded in dividing himself, and out of this have come all the seeming antagonism, dualities, inconsistencies, and irreconcilable opposites which are attributable to this world. Leisure was a good thing to desire and have, but man once got it by establishing a system of slavery. Greek civilization, with all that is praised in it, was founded on a slave organization. It divided into human society and human rights. Consequently, it was unnatural and had to go. Leisure is a good thing today, but until now, most of it has been bought at the cost of other people's leisure. Across the sea, we incline to admire the leisurely methods which make both ends of the week a holiday. Business a necessary nuisance to be attended between Tuesday, say, and Friday, but it is bought at cost of dangerously neglected industrial situation. It divides the same race in two, in a most artificial division. Here in America, the same mistake appears. Men seek culture, they seek the graces of society and the arts. They are made to believe that without expert knowledge of the latest patter in certain circles, they are vulgar. It is amazing the power which these circles have, since their members are mostly do-nothing heirs and heiresses of men and women who knew how to work. But such is their power that they have driven a wedge between the world of work and the world of culture, a division artificial and extreme. And mischievous too, because if ever the world of art is to be established, it must be upon the same endurable qualities of the working world, and if ever the working world is to be established, it must be by the inclusion of the finer elements of life. Art without life becomes an insanity, and work without the art of fine social justice becomes an oppression. Division, therefore, does not help. It only deepens the wrong. It is the formula of unity that we want. Sometimes a country that is filled with money and goods and people becomes stagnant, and the wise men do not know why. They allege many causes, but no one feels that the right one has been hit upon. One thing they do not say is that sometimes the people simply grow tired of merely being busy and prosperous, for even business and prosperity lose their savor if they're nothing more than what they usually mean by these terms. The economist has never taken into account the possibility of people growing tired of mere business and mere prosperity, and the economist never will take into account until his inquiry is broadened. The division of science into departments has unquestionably increased knowledge, but it is the reunion and mixing of the departments that increase wisdom. Permanent division would be as dangerous here as elsewhere. The phenomenon of stagnation amid plenty has been growing for a generation. The difference is in the more recent phases of the alignment, being that stagnation now occurs without producing dire physical need. We're learning that the game of business will not play itself, that the players of business will not keep playing when their interest flags. That is, seems to be the law, that interest flags in proportions to the lowness of the purposes involved. Selfishness is the least sustaining interest in the world, the least of the sources of wise action, the earliest to wear out. Men have thought otherwise about selfishness, but this is the true account of it. As a motive power in continuous effort and increasingly defined effort, it fails miserably. Faced with the experience, men of the far past have said, "Away with the material interest in life altogether. Let us fast in caves until life be past." Leaders of the present are saying, "Regard business and labor as necessary evil, but escape from them into art or poetry or society or something else. Get as far away from it as often as you can." Are either of these wise?